Dear students, in this lecture video, we studied about the continuation of types of grounding, that is system grounding and ungrounded system. First, what is the definition of system grounding? The process of connecting some electrical part of the power system, that is the neutral point of a star connected system, one conductor of the secondary transformer, etc. That means connected to the earth, that is soil, is called the system grounding. In this type of grounding, the neutral point of the current carrying conductor, such as the neutral point of a circuit or the transformer, will be connected to the earth, that is the ground. The system grounding ensures the reliability and the safety of the power system network. The system grounding has assumed considerable importance in the fast expanding power system. By adopting proper schemes of system grounding, we can achieve many advantages including protection, reliability and safety to the power system network. Now we detailed study the system grounding. You see the circuit diagram. From this diagram you can easily understand the importance of the system grounding. You see, this is the 11 kV distribution transformer. The primary winding of the distribution transformer connected between the line and neutral of 11 kV. Okay. If the secondary conductors ungrounded, the secondary conductors is ungrounded. This is the secondary of the distribution transformer. It is ungrounded. Only primary only grounded. So what happens under this situation? Suppose the person could touch that means either the secondary conductor without harm, because there is no ground return. The capacitance, that is C1, between primary and secondary, capacitance is C1. The C2 is nothing but the capacitance between secondary and ground. These capacitance coupling can produce a high voltage between the secondary lines and the ground. So depending upon the relative magnitude of the C1 and C2, it may be as high as 20% to 40% of the primary voltage. If the person, that is the human being, touches either one of the secondary wires, the resulting capacitive current IC flowing through the body could be dangerous even in case of small transformers. For example, IC, that is the current. The capacitive current is equal to 20 milliamps. The person may get a fatal electrical shock if the secondary of the distribution transformer not grounded. This is the first way. You see, this is the another diagram. So in this diagram and all, suppose if the one of the secondary conductors is grounded, means the capacitive coupling almost, that means reduces. Here you see the secondary of the distribution transformer is connected to the ground. So therefore the capacitive coupling almost reduces to 0. Therefore the capacitive current IC or the fault current, that means as a result the person will experience no electric shock. This is the importance of the system grounding. You see, the previous lecture video, that means that is the previous diagram, the secondary of the terminal is not grounded. That's why the human body touches means the human get a shock. Okay. Now you see the secondary of the distribution transformer, one of the terminal is grounded. So therefore, if the human being is touches may also, they never get a electric shock. This is the importance of a system grounding. Now we studied about the underground system. Okay. So the undergrounded system, the definition is the system without neutral grounding is known as the ungrounded system. The main feature of the undergrounded system is nothing but its ability to remove the earth fault without interruption. In the undergrounded system, the neutral is not connected to the ground. The line conductors have capacitance between one another and ground. Now you see the underground three-phase system. This is the three-phase system diagram. Okay, this is the neutral star connected system. Here CR, CY, CB, these are the capacitance connected between the each phase and the ground. CR, CY, CB. This is the capacitor bank, delta connected capacitor bank. This is the general three-phase undergrounded system. Now see, under normal condition, you see the undergrounded three-phase system. The current IR, IY, IB flows through the capacitance CR, CY, CB and then to the ground. So under normal condition, the CR equal to CY equal to CB equal to capacitance is C. Similarly, IR equal to IY equal to IB equal to phase voltage divided by capacitive reactance. IR, IY, IB is the line current. So the V phase is nothing but the phase voltage, that is line to neutral voltage. The XC is nothing but the capacitive reactance. The XC, the C denotes that means capacitive, the X denotes reactance. So therefore the XC represents capacitive reactance of the line to ground. That is very, very important. Now you see the phasor diagram. So VYN, VBN, VRN, all the three phase voltages. That means VYN means Y phase to neutral. VBN means B phase to neutral. VRN means R phase to neutral. This is the phase voltages. Then the phase displacement is 120 degree phase shift. This is the direction. And then similarly, the phase current IR, IY, IB, and this is star connection. So therefore the line current is equal to phase current. So therefore the IR, IY, IB is known as the line current as well as the phase current also 120 degree phase shift. This is under normal condition. Now you see the under faulty conditions what happens. Now you see under fault conditions. You see here the B phase is fault occurs on the B phase. That is the B phase only. The F denoter of fault. Fault occurs here. The IF is the fault current flowing through the ground. So the IF splitted into two currents. One is IR, another one is IY. You see IR and IY both are flowing through the IR flowing through the CR flowing through the capacitance CY. So the fault current IF has two components. I already told IR and IY. The both are flow through the capacitance CR and CY under the potential difference of VBR and VBY respectively. The current IR and IY leads from their respective voltage by 90 degree and their phasor sum is equal to the fault current IF. Now you see this is the figure 2 is represents the phasor diagram of ungrounded three-phase system with fault on the B phase. So the VYN, VRN, VBN all are, that means 120 degree phase shift. You see this is the IR. Okay, this is the VBR. So the IR leads their respective voltage VBR by an angle 90 degree. Now I explain clearly. You see, this is IR. The respective voltage is VBR. The IR leads the voltage VBR by an angle 90 degree. Okay. Then the IY. Okay, the IY. The respective voltage is VBY. The IY leads VBY by an angle 90 degree. That's why I am telling the IR and IY leads from their respective voltage VBR and VBY by 90 degree. So therefore the IF, the fault current, is the vector sum of IR and IY. If fault occurs, what is the current? How to calculate the fault current? Now you see, this is the calculation for calculating the capacitive fault current in the line B only. So the fault current IB is the vector sum of IR and IY. From the phasor diagram, the formula for IR equal to VBR divided by XCR, but the CR equal to CY equal to CB equal to C. So therefore IR equal to root 3 times of V phase divided by XC. Because the VBR is the line voltage. VBR is the line voltage. This is the star connection. In the star connection, that means the line voltage is equal to root 3 times of the phase voltage for star connected three-phase system. So the same applicable here. So the line voltage, so root 3 times of phase voltage divided by reactance. Similarly, current I is equal to, as per the Ohm's law, I is equal to what? V by R or Z. Here the Z is nothing but only the reactance. So therefore IR equal to VBR divided by XCR, that is equal to root 3 V phase divided by XC. Okay. Similarly, IY is equal to the line voltage VBY divided by XCY. XCY equal to XC. So then the line voltage is equal to root 3 V phase. Therefore IY is equal to root 3 V phase divided by XC. From these two equations, the IR equal to IY, that is equal to root 3 V phase divided by XC, that is equal to root 3 times the per phase capacitive current under normal condition. Because under normal condition, what is the capacitive current? That means that is equal to V phase divided by XC. So therefore the V phase divided by XC is nothing but the capacitive current. So therefore IR equal to I3 equal to root 3 times of capacitive current. Okay. Now how to calculate the capacitive fault current in the line B? That is denoted by IF. So that is equal to root 3 IR or root 3 IY. Because IR and IY is equal. So root 3, IR value is root 3 V phase into XC. Substitute instead of IR. So root 3 into root 3 is 3 V phase divided by XC. So the fault current, that is the capacitive fault current in the line B, IF equal to 3 times the per phase capacitive current under normal condition. You compare these two formula, the IR, IY is nothing but root 3 times of the per phase capacitive current under normal condition. If the fault occurs, what is the fault current? 3 times the per phase capacitive current under normal conditions. Okay. So this is the difference between the under normal condition and under fault conditions. Now, concluded part of the ungrounded system. Okay. So, the first is the potential of the faulty phase. For example, line B. Then equal to the ground potential. The voltage of the two remaining healthy phases, in our example R and YA, rise from their normal phase voltages to the full line value. So, this result what happened? Insulation breakdown. The second conclusion is the capacitive current in the two healthy phases, that is R phase and Y phase, increase the root 3 times the normal value, that is IR is equal to IY is equal to root 3 times of V phase divided by XC. Then capacitive fault current I phase, that is the IF, becomes the 3 times the per phase capacitive current under normal condition, that is IF is equal to, once again I recall, IF is equal to that is the root 3 times of IR or IY, that is equal to 3 times V phase divided by XC. Okay, the V phase divided by XC is nothing but the per phase capacitive current under normal condition. You can multiply it by 3, we are getting the capacitive fault current IF. The next, the system cannot provide adequate protection against earth fault. It is because the capacitive fault current IF is small in magnitude and cannot operate protective devices. Suppose the capacitive fault current IF flows into the earth. So the IF in excess of suppose 4 amps, for example, to maintain the arc in the ionized path of the fault current. The fault current is once maintained, it may exist even after the fault is cleared. This phenomenon only is called the arcing ground. In the previous lecture video, we studied what are the advantages of grounded systems, that is the arcing ground. So, the arcing ground is eliminated in the grounded system, but arcing ground is, that means is occurred in the ungrounded system. If arcing ground occur means what happens? Due to arcing ground occurs in the ungrounded system, the system capacity charged and discharged in a cyclic order. This is the problem. This set up high frequency oscillation on the whole system, and the phase voltage of the healthy conductors may raise to 5 to 6 times its normal value. This is the problem due to arcing ground problem occurs in the ungrounded system. So therefore the over voltages in the healthy conductors may damage the insulation in the line. That means the healthy conductor's insulation is damaged due to arcing ground which occur in the ungrounded system. So, due to the above disadvantages, the ungrounded system or the ungrounded neutral system are not used nowadays. So, the modern high voltage 3-phase systems employed only the grounded system, that is the grounded neutral grounding. So, because it has a number of advantages, that is the grounded system has a number of advantages compared to ungrounded system. Students, in the next lecture video we studied about the types of neutral grounding. Students, I hope that in this lecture video you clearly understood the definition of system grounding, and then what is the importance of system grounding with explained with the circuit diagrams, and what is the definition of ungrounded system. If the fault occurs in the ungrounded system, what happens? And then what is the conclusion of the ungrounded system? Why nowadays we didn't use the ungrounded neutral system? Only we are used the grounded neutral system instead of ungrounded system. Thank you student for watching this video.